We're getting close to more recent years. When we launched the volume and painting of this catalog resume at the New York Public Library in December of 2012, we discussed this most recently completed painting at the time. This is Cindy. He made an announcement then that that was the last he would make of that type of incremental grid painting. Sure enough, the next 11 paintings he has completed since then comprise a new direction. When Cindy Sherman posed for the photograph on which the 2012 painting is based, she wore a boldly patterned scarf. Chuck painted Cindy on a diagonal grid, with a canvas fractured into his trademark blocks of brightly colored abstract shapes comparable to bits of Murano glass. Much has been written about how the individual cells within each of Close's paintings from the early 1990s until 2012 stand as small abstract paintings that collectively form a figurative portrait. Close has drawn an analogy to musical composition, with the rhythmic beat of the grid acting as a visual metronome, and with the orchestration of visual chords from colors played together, capturing varying chromatic registers within the larger whole. In the pre-2013 paintings, these visual chords reveal discernible shapes and forms: lines, squares, circles, ovals, and triangles. These call to mind donuts, lozenges, jelly beans, bottles, boomerangs, crosses, and amoeboid blobs. The chromatic chords in the paintings that followed have completely shed these shapes. Still viable as small abstract paintings, from afar they look like rounded tiles in gemstone colors. The 2013 version of Sherman's riotously patterned scarf is rendered in pulsating orbs of jewel tones. Viewed up close, the brush strokes are visible, as are the overlaid swatches of yellows, cyans, and magentas. If each grid unit in the earlier canvases looked like a mosaic tile, each grid unit in the recent paintings looks like a mini Mark Rothko painting. Chuck has always claimed that the activity of work is a wellspring of his ideas. The process in one medium might inform that of another, thereby triggering innovations across his entire practice. The transition between the 2012 and 2013 Cindy's was made possible by his experimentation with archival watercolor pigment in 2012. These were created by overlaying specific swatches of colors selected from hundreds of small watercolor strokes that the artist made to produce tiles of the full color chart and grayscale. Thousands, he made them one by one. In a way, the new approach in the 2013 paintings is a hybrid of his incremental grids in oil and his earlier continuous tone paintings, in which colors were mixed right on the canvas. As a child, Chuck wanted to be a magician or an artist. The 2013 paintings illustrate his predilection for creating magic while also showing the trick. These are deliberately unfinished at the bottom to reveal the process by which the chromatic chords are achieved and show the gradation and finish from bottom to top. As Chuck said, demystifying the process is the truth behind realism. But with Chuck, a transition could also be a recycling. The 2012 watercolor prints inspired his shift in painting in 2013, but his newest paintings are also anticipated by 35 years by this 1978 drawing. Chuck turned 75 last year, and his current solo exhibition, this solo exhibition, also last year, was in New York, and it showcased how he continues to push the frontiers of painting with rigorous conceptual underpinnings. If he used to be a self-proclaimed Luddite who did not want a machine to do the work for him, he has now been labeled by the New York Times as a technophile. His most recent series of self-portraits, all based on a Polaroid from 1999, comprise paintings created by a full embrace of digital manipulation. In the past, a photo maquette for a painting would simply be gridded over, but for this latest series, the original Polaroid was subjected to numerous deconstructions and reconstructions. For the first of the series, completed in 2014, digital files of multiple color separations were made. From these color separations, various components, an eye, the beard, were collaged and then recomposed into a whole image. Different sections of this composite were subjected to color alterations and then digitally gridded, creating a full-color proof maquette comprising around 100 layers of information. This was then broken apart again into another set of color separations. Close worked very closely with Donald Farnsworth in producing these digital maquettes. As Farnsworth described the process, it was iterate, iterate, iterate. The idea for these manipulations developed from experiments that Close made 4 decades ago. In 1972, he wanted to find a way to fracture the photographic naturalism in photo etching. Using a photograph of the artist John Boy, Close inked the plate so that different sections of Boy's face each had a different primary color. The result appears collaged, where 2 colors overlap, a secondary color appears. Although Close never published any of the proofs from this experiment, they were not thrown away. When they resurfaced decades later, he was prompted to revisit the experiment with color photograph viewer in 2010, which led to further experimentation in 2013, culminating in painting in 2014. Close's 1972 photo etching experiment was itself influenced by a shift in his painting, from his continuous tone portraits in black and white to ones in full color. 2 years before, when he began to recreate by hand the color separation process used in mechanical reproduction. The complex range of colors in the 2014 self-portrait comes out of a response to more advanced technology. In this case, the maquette was generated with a total of 12 colors, 3 times more than CMYK printed. The maquette for the 2014 self-portrait also employed grayscale layers that were each constructed from a digital library of 10,000 of Close's Sumi watercolor marks created in 2012. The library of Sumi marks comprises hundreds of stamp-size washes made by Close in 2012, plus thousands of grid units from his 1977 watercolor of fill that were digitally captured and individually isolated. It's pretty maddening, the process for this. Altogether, the 2014 self-portrait is both a new departure and part of a trajectory that includes many of the artist's previous innovations through which he extracts a diverse range of optical results from the raw material of a gridded photograph. One way of grasping the full measure of this self-portrait is to imagine the Kent, the John, and the fill watercolor embedded in it, not literally, but technically, with a composite whole testifying and blazing colors to Close as the inveterate inventor of means. Self-Portrait 1 is a stunning example of a drastically different artwork generated not just by wildly altering the chromatic range of the initial photograph, but also by optimizing what digital technology has to offer. According to Farnsworth, the human eye can perceive as many as 8 million colors, while the digitally generated maquette has 16.7 million colors. It was as if Close first embarked on an incredible digital journey, exhausting, if not outright challenging, every possible facet of the technology to arrive at the final maquette, which he then rendered in oil on canvas. Remember his assertion early in his career, "I wasn't interested in having the machine do the work for me, or in having any kind of artificial layer between the image and me." The 2014 painting is based on a maquette that was digitally manipulated in hundreds of ways, no less than 9 gigabytes of digital information between the image and the artist. Of course, the mastermind who orchestrated every aspect of the digital manipulation and harnessed 9 GB of details is Chuck himself. The rigor involved in this process pulsates in each intensely hued board he eventually painted by hand. Self-Portrait 1 is both an immersion in technology and an indulgence of the very color that his first self-portrait renounced. That this self-portrait retains the flesh complexion and part of the head, but on the whole calls to mind a cyborg, is almost an uncanny metaphorical manifestation of the process. So, just how cool is Chuck Close? Big self-portrait, anonymous back in 1967, now has close to 200 literature records, and we are constantly updating the artwork page. Here are some cool criminals in a film still with Brad Pitt and George Clooney from Ocean's 11. In this scene, the building their characters are walking away from is a well-known penitentiary in New Jersey, where a tattoo artist created this. This portrait of the artist as a young punk has also been interpreted in a Lego piece. Beyond Chuck's iconography, having infiltrated popular culture, his life has been a shining testament to the humanity of an indomitable human. From childhood, he has always had a neuromuscular disorder that made his legs buckled when he ran, and that caused chest and stomach pains, often severe. He said, I had Coke bottle bottom glasses and couldn't catch a ball to save my soul. If I were playing a game and the kids started to run, I was soon left in the dust. So I determined that if I were going to have any friends at all, I would have to find ways to get people to come to me and stay put. I would have to learn to entertain the troops. Did magic tricks and puppet shows. Undiagnosed learning and neurological disabilities led teachers to call him dumb, lazy. He would sit in an unlit bathtub holding a flashlight onto each page and reading it aloud 5 times until he remembered it before exams. Instead of handing in a paper for a history class, he created a 20-foot-long mural of the Lewis and Clark drill. He was discouraged from going to college, graduated with top honors from Yale. He has been conferred honorary doctorates, is a member of the American Academy of Arts and Letters, was awarded the National Medal of Arts by President Clinton, and appointed to serve on the President's Committee on the Arts and the Humanities by President Obama. A partial quadriplegic for nearly 3 decades now, struck at the same age his father had died, he simply kept moving forward, stating, I started marking time from that moment. It was time that I had, which my father didn't. And it was time I had with my children, which my father didn't have with me. So it seems as each year passes, it really seems like this wonderful gift. He has even carried the Olympic torch for a few blocks in 2004. Except he would say, I wheeled one day instead of running. He has survived colon cancer, and although he is constantly uncomfortable, even in pain, he continues to paint every single day from 8 to 4 to support the various boards he has sat on, to see exhibitions, particularly those of young artists, and to regularly address issues affecting people living with disabilities. He also takes time to mentor kids in low-performing public schools. Above all, afflicted with face blindness, he has devoted nearly 50 years to the art of painting faces. Monumental, colossal, and epic are the adjectives alternately used to describe the faces of closest given to the world and to which the world has grown accustomed. Paradoxically, he achieves the monumental in his art through the humble and nearly meditative cultivation of the minute in a kind of labor through which he achieves each brutal detail. And he has coaxed the monumental in his life through a spirited commitment to figure out what I have left and try to make it work for me. In addition to the masterpieces that will always be standard bearers in the pantheon of contemporary art, Close has also given us the ethos in the story of his work and the pathos in the story of his life. Philip Glass, we have a bromance going on. The woman who's in the middle, it's actually a Filipino writer, it's Jessica Hackett. You're free of the black box car. The end. Do you have any questions? Well, thank you guys for coming. Somebody else? If you want to access the catalog, this is the website. Right now, preview access is still free, so this would be. Oh, that's right.
It brings up fake ones.
There is a little. Is it still recording?
We have to stop it.